Our next speaker is Vivek Gupta, Assistant Vice President and Head Instrument, DCM Shriram. After completing his graduation in Electrical Engineering from MREC Jaipur, now MNIT, he worked at Instrumentation Limited, Kota from 88 to 2006. From December 2006 till date, he has been with DCM Shriram as head instrumentation for all the 8 plants at Kota complex: power plant, fertilizer, cement, chlor-alkali, calcium carbide, PVC, Fenester building systems, and Shriram Axial. Honored with Distinguished Instrumentation Professional Award 2016, India by ISA in 2016 at the Automation India Week at Mumbai. Please welcome Vivek on stage.
Namaskar, brothers and sisters. I am thankful to ARC for giving me this opportunity to be here in front of you. And I will be speaking from the end user perspective. For the last 3 sessions, yesterday 2 and today also before tea, we have heard a lot about what the industrial Internet of Things or Industry 4.0 is affecting the overall business scenario. Now, we have learned a lot about the discrete industries, and there the things have been successful and it is exponentially growing. But what is happening towards the process industries? Because the things at process industries are slightly difficult. The difficult in the sense is, these processes are hazardous. We cannot go for the upgrades at the speed the automation is moving. Definitely one has to do that. But what are the challenges, the ground facts? This is what I will try to summarize in the next 20 minutes. So, initially, when there was no internet, it was human to human. And I tell you still, whether it is Industry 4.0 or 10.0 or whatever it comes, it will be still heart to heart. Men to men will still survive. Then we came with www. Then Web 2.0, then social media, and now we are talking about machine to machine. But we can never forget machine to machine with the personnel who are actually driving the machine. We know, and in the management, we always talk about VUCA world. And most of us know it with volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. But with the industrial revolution, the definition is now changing. As we have heard by so many speakers, this VUCA world has now given us an opportunity to have a different vision. Let's have the vision of the company towards digitization. That is, we have to take actions, we have to probe the changes. Second is understanding. It's giving us an opportunity to have a wider and different perspective of how the processes are operating. Third is the clarity, that is focus, flexible and creative. We have seen, and things are coming in that way. I just share you a very small example. In the process industries for the rotating machines, we measure vibration. Why? If the vibration goes high, we have to take action. And at DCM, the word, this innovation, what we tried is, we have now started measuring low vibration for vibrating screens in coal plant. If the vibration is low, it means the belt has broken. The motor has stopped. And if the feeding is not stopped from backwards, a lot of material spillage will take place. Only an investment of nearly 40,000 rupees, but it has saved 2 to 3 hours of the machine stoppage or a vibrating screen. So this is the kind of the power which a measurement is giving it to us, giving us an opportunity to think about that. Next is agility. In fact, the instrumentation so far, before 4 or 5 years, was only used to operate the plant, but not for any kind of decision making. Now the things have changed, and the measurements are now slowly turning into the kind of analytics. There are two kinds of measurements, one which is used in controls, and another one for the monitoring. Now these two have combined and giving the decision making to the management, that whether to run the machine or whether to not to run the machine. So this is the kind of the power which the latest instrumentation or automation is giving us an opportunity. Most of us know up to terabyte, I think. But since the people have been talking about lot of number of bytes, we started with byte, then kilobyte, then megabyte, then gigabyte, and then terabyte has started coming when you use CCTV cameras. You have to have hard disk of 1 TB or 2 TB. But now we will have to run and learn about petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, and so on. Because the times are coming, as many of us have talked about, that the data is the oil for the future. So we have to know 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we were knowing it, but now this is the new thing which I thought, let me share it with you. Sorry. This is already shared by Mr. Ghosh about the Internet of Minute, how 1 minute is useful for us in a different way. But it's not a matter of minute, it's a matter of milliseconds when you operate a process industry. I have intentionally put this slide because in process plants, where we have the sequence of event recording, SOE, that plays a very, very vital role to find out what is the first out cause of failure of the machine. And that is the most important, to detect the fault and then to take the corrective action. That was 1 minute, that was a day in data. How many data are getting exchanged? This is really very, very interesting. Now, the earlier days, we have to go to doctor, take our blood pressure, a lot of sugar level and other things. But the sooner or later, the time will come when everything will be a kind of a wearable and we will be able to know ourselves. Now, we have to think in a two-way. Will it be creating a greater anxiety in ourselves and make your life more miserable? Everybody has taken tea now. Those who know they are diabetic, they have not taken sugar. But those who are on the border, and if this wearable is showing you that your blood sugar level is 180. So I'm just putting a thought for food, that will it be making our life miserable or not? Definitely the science has, standards of our life have gone high. But have you ever thought of what is the quality of life we have now? Earlier, when you used to change a channel of a TV, you have to go down to the TV, push that button, and then, okay, this channel is not good, again go there. At least 10 times a man used to go. But now, simply sitting on your bed, you're able to do everything else. Just think why our earlier days, the health of the people used to be good, and why not now? Because everything has become automatic now. So those who are health conscious, and we have seen that wearables have come, so now you have to see how we fulfill this gap. Now, this is a slide where most of our senior persons who are sitting over here with white hairs, they will say, what has changed? We earlier also used to have the data in the plant. But I just want to tell you over here is how we are doing it has changed significantly. Data where earlier also used to come. We used to get a high pressure, low pressure alarms, temperatures, flow, everything is still available. And even if IIT is there, the control system will still exist and will continue to work and control the plant. But how do we utilize those data to make our plants more efficient? Earlier, we used to have high production targets. The marketing guys used to have high sales, and the people who are sitting on the shop floor were forced to have a high production. But that production term has now changed to productivity. What does that mean? If we produce 1 ton of certain product, it is at what cost, what energy, and have you met any accident? Safety. So energy in term, then rupee, and then safety. So we have talked about safety in so many speakers have talked about that. So the technology has to be used for the safety purposes also. We have safety instrumented systems which are at place for the hazardous plants. And that takes care of not with the single element measurement, but dual or triple. And it has to be separated from balance of plant controls. You have to have a final element which is different from BPCS. So what it has done is, the old point-to-point data model is now replaced by a broadcast or a subscribe model. See, we have any motor. We all know the kind of measurements we have. We have ampere measurement, we have power measurement, we have voltage measurement, we have torque measurement. Everything is there. But that is available either locally with the use of gauges, or in some of the things we have translated it and brought it into the control room. But that is limited to control room. If a maintenance engineer or a head of the plant or the head of the unit wants to know, this machine is dumb for him. It's not giving any data to anyone else. So the time has come, even the pressure gauges, we know with the pace of time and the plants which are dusty, so let's say case of power plant, where there is a lot of coal. After some time you will find you will not be able to read the pressure gauge. What is the pressure indicated on that? So the time has come to go for a wireless pressure gauge. It should be able to transmit for the important pressure measurements into the control room or to the maintenance engineer. So pressure, temperature, flow, position, everything we are getting. But when the problem comes, does industrial Internet of Things help you to analyze that? This technology is not for the technology for the sake. It should be able to address the pain points of the plant. That is the need of the hour, my friends. It is not the red, blue, gray, yellow graphics which attracts. The people who are sitting in front of the desk and operating the plant, they need to know what is the root cause of this failure. And if the technology is able to help me out in finding out what is the root cause, then it's really useful. And that is where everybody is looking. So when we want to go for this new technology, we should have a workshop with maintenance, electrical, instrumentation, process, and heads of the maintenance plants, that what are their major pain points which they want to address with the use of technology. And if it is successful, this is the really industrial Internet of Things, because every equipment is treated as a thing here, which was not the case earlier. So now how it can help us? We go for a medical checkup maybe once in 6 months or maybe every quarter to see that we are working okay. But as far as the machine is concerned, every minute is important. I take you a simple case of a cooling tower. Every plant has got cooling tower. But do we have the vibration measurements of gearbox or the motors in cooling towers? How often an operator goes to see upstairs on the cooling tower to see the health of the gearbox? No. Honestly, if you will ask me, not many plants have got that kind of measurement. Maybe once in 7 days, once in 15 days. There have been accidents in the plants where the cooling tower has collapsed. And just 2 minutes before, everything was okay. Had there been some kind of measurement to give an indication, we could actually stop that kind of accident. So this is the kind of the power which the newer technology can give it to us. It can give us a prediction kind of a thing, that this is something which is going to increase in your plant. Now please take a decision whether you want to stop the machine now or you want to stop after 7 days. What will be the level of the parameters which the machine is going to attend? So if that is there, that is really useful for us. Second thing is, as far as every company has got an ISO certification, 9001, 14001, now 45001 has also come. And all these standards, they call for certain kind of documentation. As far as the instrumentation automation is concerned, the calibration is the most important criteria. Now, we used to have earlier the schedule of 6 months or 1 year to calibrate a transmitter. But the things have changed in past many years. It is all microprocessor based. You will find that in 3 years you don't get any drift. Now many of the automation suppliers, they are giving a guarantee of 5 years drift-free operation. Do we really need that kind of calibration again and again? So it is based on the condition-based kind of maintenance one has to do it. Earlier we used to have, and still in so many cars, they give you, okay, after 10,000 kilometers, please come for maintenance, change your oil, blah, blah, 4 or 5 things. Do we really need to do that? Or we need to do only based on certain parameters which a vehicle tells us. So this is the kind of the power which we are looking for. The industrial machines also, we have fans, we have dampers, we have motors, we have pump, we have compressors. A lot of things are over there, but they all need attention to the important parameters which they are catering. And third is the real-time equipment optimization. Now, DCS is at place in all the industries, whether it's a small scale or it's a big industry, but now the main thing is to optimize the plant parameters. You are generating power at what cost? Every paisa is important. The coal cost is considered as how much paisa per kilocalorie. So that is the kind of measurement which we are doing. So I feel that these 3 are the important points which IIoT can help us. Now, what are the challenges which we are facing and why these things are not able to move? I try to put up in 4 different ways. That is for technology, for consumer, for standards, and for businesses. Now, these are the things which are shared in such type of conferences. For process industries, what we strongly feel is there should be some kind of knowledge club or something like that, where the success stories can be shared. A lot of people, in a fertilizer industry, we have Fertilizer Association of India, but the things are shared with all the fertilizer plants, what they have done. So for IIoT, which is an evolving technology, there should be some group of the like-minded people where we can share what they have done. See, we all are working towards India at the rate of 75. We got independent in 1947. CII has put a target of India 75 in 2022. So we are looking, and India is an emerging country in this world, and if we have to be on the top, as Mr. Ghosh was showing that map, and we will be on the top, but we have to adopt certain technologies, certain strategy for India to become the world leader. But for that, the sharing the knowledge is must. Now, why we are facing problems? You see, there is a mindset issue over here. What we want and what usually we do is, we have that wait and watch issue. We will see what other industry will do. We will just wait for them. If they are successful, then only we will do it. Please excuse me, this is what is really happening in process industries. And then for an instrumentation department to get an approval of the budget is really a very difficult task. If a bearing fails, the management will give approval immediately without waiting for the budget. But if you have to change an operating workstation from Windows XP to Windows 7 or Windows 10, blah, blah, they will say, please wait, because system is working. What else Please tell me what is the ROI which you are going to give it to me. This is the ground fact I am telling you. And we really face that kind of problems. But if suppose a content malfunctions, then you will hear questions like that. What is this technology you're talking about? Let me know where was the actual fault. Your marshalling room, your IR room is not having sufficient air conditioning because in Rajasthan and states where you have high temperatures, the ACs are not working, the components are getting degraded. One day they will malfunction, they will trip the turbine, they will trip the boiler, and then as an instrumentation or an automation guy, very difficult for you to answer that question. How can you measure the degradation of a digital input board where there is some capacitance has gone bad? Is it possible? I don't think. The power supplies are there. What is there? Resistance and capacitance. They have got their own life. And if the environment is full of dust, temperatures are not maintained, they are bound to fail. So, my dear friends, these are the real problems which an instrumentation and control engineers have to face. So, these needs to be addressed. Then what I found is, in this technology, if we go for the wireless network, that really helps us out. There are parameters which are wired in the existing plants. I am not talking about a new one. New one, you have ample opportunities to design your plant. The plants which are running for 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, now you need to have some kind of additional measurements. If I take a case of a rotating machine, the vibration and the temperature, they are the two most important parameters which needs to be monitored around the clock for the healthiness of that particular equipment. Now you don't have. But then you need to put some kind of sensors, maybe some wireless sensor, and then you need to have a data. Now, the problem here lies is, many of our plants, the DCS is not connected to internet. Now, how do we get it? So what at DCM Shriram we have thought of is that industrial Internet of Things, to start with, change it to industrial Internet of Things. Let's not go out of the complex. Let it be on premises, specific to that plant. Don't expose your DCS to the external world. Just remain within your own plant. Feel, see the experience. Because the cloud data is only relevant if you need a third-party expertise. We do have our in-house expertise, but since we do not have measurements, we are not able to utilize our own mechanical engineers to find out where is the fault. So we can start with that. Because if you have a wireless sensor, now there are a lot of technologies coming over here. We have 2.4 to 2.48 gigahertz. That's one kind of communication protocol. There are sub-gigahertz frequencies where people operate below 1000 megahertz. There are Zigbee people are talking about. So a lot of technology is there. People are using GSM SIMs. It has its own problems. Sometimes the network will not be available. The data will be lost. These are the real problems in a plant which you face. Then another thing is the kind of environment. You have all hazardous chemicals. You have gases. So the MOC of the sensors have to be of such a nature that they are able to withstand. Otherwise, in the ammonia environment, or in vinyl chloride environment, or in ethylene gas environment, these sensors will not survive for a day if they are not compatible to that kind of environment. So that is the real kind of challenge which we have to see. Then interoperability, I will not speak much about that because a lot of speakers have already talked about that. The other part is there are a lot of people in the market now who are able to do this business. You will find they are good sensor suppliers, but they do not have good software. There are people who have very good software, but they do not have good sensors. So we need to have a kind of a single window operation. What I mean to say is, one who is expertise in giving the sensors, software, uploading them, and with a good data analytics, which is really understandable by the kind of the people who are doing the operation of the plant. This point we have to understand very clearly. Because the plant operators who have been working together for many years, they are not so computer savvy. This is a transition time. I know that in coming years, there will be a lot of young generation who will be computer savvy. They may be able to operate the plant sitting in the control room. But what about the knowledge which the earlier people have gained? So there is a question on that. Now, this is a Joseph Pine framework as far as the industrial Internet of Things is concerned. Now, you see there is one differentiation. This means the companies that seek to differentiate themselves tap into the consumer needs, which is there on the right side, and through that realize the premium pricing, will need to create meaningful services and authentic experiences. What I mean over here is, IoT enables the collection of data from things to provide information in real time that can be meaningful to the customers. Now, there are three types of digital services and experiences which can be given. One is the convenience, that is notification and alerts, if you can get it. Second is the brand and product information. And third is the real-time insights of the personal advice. Suppose think of a case, everybody of us has got some medicines in the house. How many times do you check in a month the expiry date has come? Perhaps no one. Because you buy the medicine, you use it for 5 days as per doctor's advice. After that, you forget it. So the times have to come where the information should come to you that, okay, this is going to expire. Or if you go into the shopping mall and you have certain need, how good it will be if you can get a message that this is the kind of a thing which you are looking for and this is the kind of the product available over here. That the things are slowly coming, but this is a matter which is to be seen. Now, if we see, just wait. So 1 minute is, left out for me. Oh, 1 minute overtime. So just let it be the, last slide. Now, what we have to do is, we have to see that honestly in the company, there has to be a one person on the company's board who is actually the digital leader to take this forward. Because it's easy to say that we want to do it, but there has to be willingness to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. So thank you very much for the patient hearing. Thank you.